On Wednesday, the Royal African Society marked its 125th anniversary with a landmark flagship business event at the London Stock Exchange, one of the world's most important financial institutions and a venue that speaks directly to the ambition at the heart of this gathering. Founded in 1901, the Royal African Society is the only UK-based non-governmental organisation with a royal charter, the highest badge of trust, authority and enduring public service dedicated to increasing knowledge about Africa. Its royal patron is His Royal Highness Prince William. Over 125 years, it has established itself as a trusted and neutral convening authority at the intersection of business, policy, academia and the arts, playing a pivotal role in informing UK policy, shaping investment dialogue and strengthening UK-Africa relations. This year's event, themed 125 years of celebrating African and British businesses, brought together global business executives, institutional investors and diaspora business leaders for a full day of high-level discussion on capital mobilisation, cross-border investment and Africa's integration into global financial markets. The keynote address was delivered by the Prime Minister of St Kitts and Nevis, the Honourable Dr. Terence Drew.
The 125th anniversary or birthday is something that none of us humans today will ever get to. So absolutely honoured to chair the Royal African Society at a time when it's celebrating 125 years of being in existence. But also more important is that some of the issues that we're dealing with today are issues that Mary Kingsley, who has always been a champion of Africa, was talking about in the late 1800s. And this organization was founded in her memory by people from Africa, from the UK, who understood what Africa meant to the rest of the world, the wealth of Africa. And so they wanted to learn more about Africa, they wanted to listen and hear from African people. And that has always been in the DNA of this organization since its founding in 1901. I'm absolutely delighted that we can celebrate 125 years of a UK-Africa partnership that has been growing from strength to strength. So the Royal Africa Society is a membership organization, individual members, corporate members, so that makes it unique. But it's also unique because it offers its members a variety of opportunities in academia, in culture, in policy, in business, and it of course makes sure that it's building the bridges between Africa and the UK.
From the aspirations of Mary Kingsley, the founder, was to be a platform to promote mutual respect, commerce, not aid. Cooperation and collaboration with Africa that understands that Africa has its culture, has its own way of governance, and that Africa can thrive on commerce, fair commerce with Britain. That's what it thrived on. Now, the stock exchange today is a good place to begin the remembrance of those founding aspirations, because it provides a platform for sharing opportunities. It provides a platform for transparent discovery of prizes. Is this transparency, this fairness in economic relations that Mary Kingsley aspired to? And stock exchange is a good place institutionally to represent that. In today's world, fragmentation, uncertainty, economic entropy as a result of geopolitical tensions and wars, technological evolution, climate pressures. This institution, the stock exchange, which is built on the philosophy of ordered volatility, stands in stark contrast to the unpredictability of the world that we are witnessing today, the uncertainties that are arising from the geopolitical situation that is now defining relations in the world.
I've come to recognize more than anything else when I heard the word governance mentioned, that if the political climate is not right, it can disrupt all that you are planning here this afternoon. And so it dawned on me even more acutely that I must be careful with the policies that I implement. Recently, I had the opportunity of bringing a number of young people in my country, where I've launched a program called Aspire. I will describe it and it would sound like something I've heard before, but I can tell you it was the first one in the Western Hemisphere. For every child between the ages of 5 and 18, we have given them an initial grant of $1,000. And then of that, each child will have $500 to start a savings, and then the other $500 they will invest in the stock market or bonds. And then in addition to that, all of the children have to have financial literacy as part of their curricula in school.
You know, it's such a historic moment that I'm so proud of it. First of all, yes, 125 years of being the bridge between the United Kingdom and Africa. You don't get to be 125 years twice. Now, the Royal African Society, we sit in a very privileged position where we have 4 different pillars: business, arts and culture, policy and academics. Now, this was a strong expression of our business pillar. We couldn't think of a more iconic address than the London Stock Exchange. And essentially, we're bringing captains of industry, regulators, dignitaries in the public sector, because we all work together, diplomats, to ask ourselves, what is the future we see for Africa? Broadly and then in industry-specific terms, because enough of the talk, is time for action. As we have those industry conversations, each team goes away with things that we need to begin to do differently. You know, we had at the beginning of the day a poet speak to us, you know, and she said, what will you leave behind for your children? What is the legacy of the next 125 years? It's up to us to build it now, for Africans, by Africans, and putting Africa where it should be in the global marketplace. Our very next big event is the 125th edition of Film Africa, which takes place from the 23rd of October to the 1st of November. And the portal is out, it's open. Filmmakers across the continent, put in your submissions. Last year we had 50 films from 22 African countries. We have 54, and we really would like to see a film at least from every country. And beyond the films, the specific areas we're going to be looking at: the role of women in the movie industry. How do we raise sustainable finance for the movie industry? And how do we equip our youth to such that they can take charge of this? The future belongs to them. Africa is a youthful continent, but we need to put them with the resources that they require.
You know, I want us to focus on the future that we have to build. And I think there's a platform here for us to talk about the key challenges we have and to agree a path on how we can intentionally build a future for Africans to have dignity and prosperity. We have to change the way our economies are structured. And we need to do that by intentionally planning for prosperity. You know, prosperity is achieved by a coordination of resource, capital, and people, talent especially, and ensuring that we have a system whereby we can align demand for our resources with the infrastructure required to process it and the markets that will consume it. I maintain that Africa is the market, not just for the future, the market now and well into the future. We're the fastest urbanizing region in the world. You know, all the mega trends are converging in Africa. So we have to seize the moment and build our future now. That's why we're here to celebrate and congratulate them for what they've achieved. But what is important is what we're going to do together going forward. And like I mentioned, I would like us to have proper conversations on how we can reduce Africa's cost of capital. And they're in a good position to do that.
You know, the society used to be focused on extracting resources out of Africa, exporting them into Europe, primarily United Kingdom. And I think that the focus and the ethos has moved around, and this time around there's a focus on seeking primary development in Africa, using global capital towards doing that, merging the ideas regarding technology, cooperation, and effectively changing our ethos from one of growth to one of development in the continent. And it resonates with us, and we're very keen to continue to develop the ideas that are being discussed here. If you look at the recent successes of our multilateral development institutions on the continent, and with that I mean the African Export-Import Bank, the African Finance Corporation, AFC, the ADB, you will see that they played such a pivotal role in being able to build large institutions and support big industrial development. And I think the focus right now has to be towards securing global capital to support their balance sheets, using them as a means of driving large-scale economic growth on the continent, and then effectively also helping us mobilize all the capital, the fragmented capital in Africa, to put that together, reduce our overall cost of borrowing. And certain initiatives are being discussed around the conference, and we're going to be able to use the society as a magnet towards driving these initiatives.
It is a golden opportunity that we have gotten when we reflect where we are coming from in the last 125 years and where we are heading to. For Africa have gotten a unique opportunity for us to demonstrate to the world that we are not just here just to participate in the global financial market, but we are here in future to shape the future of the global financial market. For us in Nigeria, a lot of things have already happened, which have demonstrated, which I believe is a platform that we are using here based on the Royal African Society's 125 years to showcase what our country have done in the last 3 years. The reforms of the government, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has gone a long way in shaping our economy, in opening the country, in making sure that at the end of the day, even though the reforms are painful, but they have really worked in terms of the effects, in terms of the subsidy removal, and so many other reforms that this new government have brought. And we are not surprised, because the president is not only a politician, but he's a businessman. And that has been demonstrated. That's why Nigeria today, the investors' confidence is back. You can see the liquidity that is coming in. You can see the foreign participation into that. It's not just coming by accident. It's a deliberate attempt by the government, which for us at the Nigerian Stock Exchange key in from day one. That's why today our market capitalizations have not only doubled, but have tripled from less than 50 trillion to over 150 trillion.